Good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Make sure you get all green gear 25% off. Promo code Jericho1, Jericho, all caps, and the number 1. Let's start with some good news. Scratch that. Great news, amazing news. And then we'll end with some why news. So, thankfully, 33 kids were found in a sex trafficking ring when it was busted in LA. One of the things that I read in the article that I never even considered before is how they were saying how a lot of kids and a lot of the kids that they found in this sting this is their second time being rescued. They said a lot of kids go back into it because of threats and because of pressure, sometimes from family members that put them in these sex trafficking rings. And my happy ending mind figured once these kids are rescued, that's it. They're in the foster care system or something, but they're out of that. They move on to, live whatever kind of normal life they can. But I figured once they got rescued, that's it. They're out of the sex trafficking life. And that's not true. Could you imagine how it feels to be one of these agents, to do another sting and you find that same kid? Somebody threatened him or her that if they didn't get back into it, they were going to hurt or kill them or their family, or even worse, their own family member. Man, I believe that the only thing worse than the wolf is the one who feeds them to the wolf. Because a wolf is going to wolf. But if you put your family member, your child in harm's way, that's a special kind of evil. And I wonder, what would it take to build a microwave big enough for somebody to walk in? Like a life-size microwave. Because what we need to do is start putting these people inside of them and cooking them in a microwave. Y'all see what happens to a hot dog or something that's in there too long, how it explodes? That's what needs to happen to these people. Maybe it will send a message and deter some people from doing it in the future. Now, I know a life-size microwave, that would be awesome, but it may be a little hyperbolic for reality. Hanging, firing squad, electric chair, drowning, I don't know. My wife and I were watching a show where this dude, they said he was going to die by drowning. And I'm thinking, what, somebody's going to hold him under the water and drown him? No. What they used to do is at low tide, they put a post out there, like a 4x4 that you're going to build a fence with or something. They put a post out there, and then they tie him to the post during low tide. And as high tide comes in, they slowly drown. Genius. We put a concrete post out there, that thing will last forever. You know how many sick fucks we could tie to that concrete post for years and years and decades to come, and it would still be there? How cheap, talk about no maintenance. We could contract some company to make some biodegradable restraints, man. You don't want to put metal in the water, man. It'll decompose. It'll break down over the years and poison the ocean life, man. Fine. Get some vegetable-based restraints, whatever it takes, tie these fuckers to it, and drown them. It is unspeakable the things these people visit upon these children, and in some cases more than once. Man. People are the most vile, sick, disgusting fucking things to ever happen to this planet or any other. The fact that you would do that to a child is absolutely disgusting. But you do it twice? You ever see that story about that father? I believe it was in 1986 or something. It was in the mid to late 80s. His son was kidnapped by his karate teacher. And I don't know, weeks or months, the kid was missing, and this karate teacher was just molesting this kid, going all around the United States. So they get word that the kid was found. And then they were bringing the guy back on an airplane. They had found him, and he was being extradited back to the state where he kidnapped the kid, and he was landing at the airport. And I can't remember whether the father, he had happened to be out shooting, like he was at the range that day, or he had his gun with him for some reason. Maybe it was a state, that had some freedom in it, and you could carry your gun. I can't remember. But he had his gun on him because that's what kept him from getting first-degree murder, because it wasn't premeditated. He was in his car. He heard it on the radio. He headed over there. Can't blame him. So the FBI are bringing this cat. They got his handcuffs in front of him and a jacket over his hands so you can't see the cuffs. There are FBI agent on either side of him. And the news cameras are all there. Why'd you do it? Hey, talk to me. Blah, 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 blah. And you see the dad, his back's turned, and he's standing in between two payphones. Side note, for you young people, a payphone are these things that you didn't keep in your pocket. They were secured to the ground with metal and steel, and when you came across one, you could make a phone call. Sometimes you had to wait in line. I'll get back to it. It's crazy. Anyway, so the dad's standing in between two payphones with his back turned, and when they walk by him, he turns around, he has his gun out, he walks up behind this dude and just gives him a fucking hot one right behind his ear. That's what he deserved. You do that to a child, you deserve a hot piece of lead traveling faster than you can comprehend through your head. Why do we not have shit like this happening to people like this? I honestly believe if we punish them properly, it would deter some of them from doing it, and it would save some of these kids. Because arresting these fools and putting them in jail forever is not doing anything. Sometimes these fuckers get out. I read a story not too long ago in a town near here called Pacific Grove. This dude got 391 years for child molestation. Some dumbass woman hooked up with this piece of shit and moved him into her house within a couple weeks with her 6 and 8-year-old children. Now, I'm not saying the mother wanted that to happen, but come on. And he had a laundry list of cases before. He had been in prison twice before for child molestation. Why are we going to take care of? He can't serve 391 years. He probably can't serve 30. So kill him. Drown him, hang him, burn him. Why do we hold on to these fucking broken, defective piece of shit members of our society? Man, let me stop right there. Anyway, thank God those 33 kids were found and rescued, and I hope they don't get put back in that shit again. And why this story is not on the lips of all of these fucking so-called journalists is beyond me. This is the shit you need to be putting on TV every night when things like this happen. Not fucking jerking your political social dick to Joe Biden. Oh, it's his hands. His hands are outstretched. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, speaking of that senile turd. So, of course, out of spite, just because Trump did it, I gotta undo it. I'm sorry, let me use his voice. Hey, Trump did it. I don't like that. So I'm gonna undo it. Hey. So, he decided to reverse the ban on transgender people in the armed services. He said, and of course, after much stumbling, of course, he couldn't just come out and say it clearly. After much stumbling and mush-mouthness, he said that if they're cleared to serve in every other way, they should be allowed to serve their country. So what do you mean cleared in other way? Are they not cleared in this way? So even you're admitting that there's something wrong with them mentally if they're transgendered. Let's go ahead and say it. If you're transgender, you have mental issues. It used to be called gender disorder. Then they changed it to gender dysphoria. And now there were a bunch of soy foam latte, deep V-neck, granola-headed dirt fucking pussies. Now they just call it transgender. There's nothing wrong. They're just doing something different. They are a tiny portion of the population. There is something wrong with people who are transgender. That's why when you look at them, you go, what the fuck? You seen Dr. Rachel Levine that Biden picked? Look at that fool. He looks crazy as shit. He looks nuttier than squirrel shit. You ever see that movie, Tu Wong Fu, where Patrick Swayze and John Leguizamo and Wesley Snipes dressed up like women? That was the whole comedy in it. They were dressed like women. That's unusual to us. That's why it's used in funny movies, to make people laugh. Because it's unusual. I'm not talking about some dude that likes to run around in women's underwear. But if you really believe that you are the wrong gender and you're willing to reconfigure your body, to remove something or have something added on, there is something wrong. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but let's speak the truth. That's why they have a suicide rate of over 40%. That's why their suicide rate is 10 times the national average. And these people deal a lot when they come out to their families. Their families don't want to accept it. Look, here's my thinking on it. If you don't like it, I don't really give a shit. But as a parent, if it's not illegal, you should support your child. You may not agree with it for religious reasons or whatever else. But it is crucial to these people to have your support when they come to you with these issues that they're dealing with. Now, if it's criminal, they hurt somebody, they killed somebody, they sexually assaulted somebody, some illegal shit, you're on your own. I'm not condoning that bullshit. You should not be hurting other people. But when they come to you with shit like this, you can't fucking turn them away and shun them. Because then they take that void of acceptance that they have now and they turn it on the rest of society. That's why I refer to these people as the Ku Klux Trans. Because if you don't agree with them, they are out to get you. That is wrong. You think if maybe they got that acceptance from their family, they might not turn that shit on us? Now that's why we're dealing with this shit. Are you for real? People who are mentally unstable should not be in the military. If you got flat feet, if your eyesight ain't good enough, or your hearing's fucked up, you can't get in the military. And if you do, you can't get certain jobs. Because you need to be mentally and physically fit. And people will turn to, what's Christy something? That dude who was a SEAL or some shit. Well, he was in the military. He was a special forces. He did that shit after he was in the military. When he was in the military, that dude was a man. After he got out, then he went transgender. So you can't say he did all that shit as a transgender. There's no pictures of him on a mission wearing a fucking wig and lipstick holding an M4. Get out of here. And, are there not other important things for you to be dealing with? And why are you undoing this? Why? So you can seem woke? So you can seem that you're diverse and you're accepting? At what cost? At some point, you dumb, senile old fucker, you have to ask yourself, is the juice worth the squeeze? So, here's the why news that I was telling you about. So now, the Biden administration is going to go forward with putting Harriet Tubman, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they're going forward with trying to put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. So, I ask, why? Well, his press secretary said, our notes, and she's all our notes, and for people that don't know, notes are our money. Thank you. But she says our notes need to reflect our history and diversity. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know our money were reflections of our history and our diversity. I thought it was just money. Yeah, they got the picture of a president on there. But our money is supposed to be an avenue for diversity? Why? Who gives a shit who is on our money? And again, like I just asked, don't you have other more important things to worry about? Aren't we in the middle of a pandemic? Isn't our economy fucking falling apart because you shut it down? Is China and Russia and other outside countries trying to bend us over a barrel? And you want to go forward with putting Harriet Tubman on the fucking 20? How many Americans can even tell you who's on the 20 now? How many can tell you who's on the 20 now? How many people know that Jackson's on the 20 and Hamilton is on the 10? I'll even say Lincoln's on the 5. I think most people probably just know the 1 and the 100. This is the kind of shit you're dealing with in the middle of this pandemic, right? Pandemic shut everything down. So this should be number 1 on your list of priorities is to battle the pandemic and get the economy back online. Right? Wrong. They're worried about putting fucking transgender people in the military and putting Harriet Tubman on the 20. We can firmly file those things under who gives a fuck. People, we're in what is second week, full week of his presidency. You better hold on tight. You better white knuckle that shit. Transgender people in the military, which they have no place, and Harriet Tubman on the 20. All right, that's where we're at. I guess we'll reconvene tomorrow, shall we? But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Get your Jericho Green notification tone, link in the description box. Utilize the PayPal link and the Teespring link to get your green gear. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.